Okay, Sasha. So last week you told me, Conrad, to get AI to control your computer. I did that. I installed Open Interpreter, as you said, and it now controls my keyboard and mouse. And I am not impressed, Sasha. I'm sorry.
All right, so you got to give me a little bit more. Like, what happened? What went wrong?
I can't think of anything interesting for it to do. I mean, it's like, it gives you this really cool command. It's called I, and I say -os like that. Okay, you see my terminal window?
Yep.
All right. It basically says, okay, LLM on your computer. Great. Okay, so I'm gonna do a task. Amazing task. Take a screenshot of Reuters.com and put it in my downloads folder. Okay, here we go. Thinking. Now, this Python program basically can control my, like it just opened up my browser. And it's sleeping for 5 seconds, so it's waiting for the whole page to load up. Very interesting. And then it is saving it. And it can't find it for some reason. See?
Okay, let's see what it does.
Oh, it corrects itself. I don't even know what the problem
There you
was.
go.
And
Nice.
it put it on my folder. And yay. Its task is done. Okay, so here we go. And I open up and oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
So why are you saying? So what was the feedback? Why were you upset with it?
I mean, it's like, I just put a screenshot. My dad can do that. Okay.
Yeah. The things that it can do right now are quite basic. I'm sure if you asked it to email this, like this is something we tried before, it couldn't do it, right? There's a lot of these workflows that just haven't been optimized yet, whether it's on the actual training side or actually on the software side in terms of how these systems use the actual software on your computer. So this is the worst it's going to be. Like that's really what you have to look at here. And we'll put up a screenshot where even the Anthropic team basically says like, expect this to improve dramatically in the next couple of months. We were surprised by how rapidly Claude generalized from the computer use training we gave it in just a few pieces of simple software, such as a calculator and a text editor. For safety reasons, we didn't allow the model to access the internet during the time of the training. You see enough signals here that this is just like we are on the exponential ramp up here. Forbes has actually covered the same thing, and it covers a lot of Leopold's situational awareness essay, where basically this seems like it's on a linear trajectory, but I would argue we're actually on an exponential one. If you look at this one as well, on OS World, which is a benchmark that evaluates the capabilities of these models, we started out with something like a 7.8% on the previous model. We're at 22% now, just a very short period of time later. 70 to 75% is considered, human level. Like this is again, the worst it will be. And this is like what it can already do. So I think that there's a lot of room to grow here.
Okay. Let's just use the comparable, which is Alexa. Okay. Jeff Bezos have been sticking in more skills and more investment into Alexa. Yet to this day, I'm pretty sure everyone just says, what's the time and what's the weather? That's what I use it for.
Yeah.
Although it has this amazing capability, the problem is all of us got excited by the first, release of Alexa, and we realized it's kind of dumb and it makes mistakes. And therefore, us human beings, we dumb it down. We stopped exercising the full capability of Alexa because it got it wrong. I actually think AI, in some sense, with controlling sort of real life computer, real life stuff, unless it gets it perfect the first time, us human beings will just not trust it, and therefore we don't use it. And so it doesn't matter what it can do because we won't use it.
I agree. But look at the rate of innovation that happened from GPT-2 to GPT-4 to the point where I probably feel more comfortable going out and asking GPT-4 something now than I do going on Google and looking up something myself, or even potentially speaking to a doctor sometimes. And I don't recommend people necessarily do that. But for me personally, it's gotten to the point where the convenience and the trust ratio are high enough where I'm willing to give it a shot. And I think it's totally possible that in the next 12 to 24 months, we get to that point with these systems. And you just think about the number of workflows that we have in our lives that actually are affected by this. Let's say you want to go off and do your taxes. Soon it's going to have the training data of thousands, if not millions of people who have gone through that. And it's going to be in the tax software's interest to make sure that they can integrate with this ecosystem. Again, I lean back on this is the worst it'll be.
my skepticism is around that AI is so much around knowledge. So finding information, I totally agree. I use AI way more than I use Google search today. Hands down, you are right. But when it takes that agentic leap to do stuff, our tolerance for mistakes tend to be really small. And so when it doesn't get it right, our humanness, we kind of set that expectation that, well, I can't really trust that. And I think so much technology is available, but the problem is us.
In my mind, this is actually more of like a when, not if. And we've heard multiple times now, like Sam Altman referred to the safety and alignment issues. We've also seen the Anthropic team, which will put up a screenshot here as well, saying we're concerned about, the safety of giving people this capability. And the labs have historically released something in its infancy, almost intentionally, to kind of see how people use it and how they try to stress test it. So in my mind, I wouldn't be surprised if there's actually already a better, more capable model. And we've been given the baby model to see basically how people will use it and abuse it. So I am pretty confident that this is actually going to improve very quickly. And I probably go down the Sam Altman school of thought here, saying, I think we will be giving this a lot more control as we develop trust.
I'm going to keep going on the agent front here. What do you see as the current hurdles for computer controlling agents?
Safety and alignment. Like, if you are really going to give an agent the ability to start clicking around your computer, which you will, you are going to have a very high bar for the robustness and the reliability and the alignment of that system. So technically speaking, I think that, we're getting like pretty close on the capability side. But the sort of agent safety and trust framework, that's going to bring people along.
And now I'll kind of ask a question. It's almost the opposite of one of the questions from earlier.
I think there are enough signals, especially from the large labs, basically saying, we think we've got enough here to crack it. We're very consciously choosing not to crack it because of the safety and alignment risks associated with having 1,000 or millions of these rogue agents going off and doing these things without building the controls first.
And you're saying, well, tomorrow is going to go, it's going to go crazy. I think this is like a generational thing between you and I. You're such an optimist. I'm just the old fart that's like, ugh.
Conrad, we've seen how more data, we've seen how more compute have like an impact on these models' capability. We went from GPT-2 to GPT-4 in the space of 2 years, and it's like a night and day difference. So you're saying that you can't see that trend happening again in this completely greenfield space?
I will keep this AI control on my computer. I will trust you to leave it on my terminal, and that's all I'll give you for now. So I'll see you next week.